Welcome to Strange America. There was a time when fast food in America meant one thing almost everyone understood: cheap. You were not pulling into a drive-thru because you wanted a special dining experience. You wanted food quickly. You wanted enough of it to fill you up. And most importantly, you did not want to spend much money. A teenager could grab a burger after school. A construction worker could pick up lunch between jobs. A family driving through Ohio, Texas, or Arizona could stop for dinner without turning the meal into a serious financial decision. Fast food was built around convenience and low prices. Maybe the fries were cold, maybe the burger looked different from the picture. But when the meal was cheap, people forgave a lot. That relationship is changing. Walk into a fast food restaurant now, or look at the menu from your car, and you may have one of those small American moments of confusion. Wait, when did that start costing this much? Burgers, chicken sandwiches, fries, drinks, and combo meals have all become noticeably more expensive over the years. Restaurants are still advertising value menus, app deals, limited-time discounts, and meal bundles because they know customers are watching every dollar. But something deeper is happening. For decades, fast food had a clear place in American life. It was the cheap alternative to sitting down at a restaurant. Now that line is getting blurry. If a drive-thru meal costs close to what you might pay somewhere with a server, a table, and actual silverware, people naturally start asking questions. Now, consider a normal weekday. A worker leaves the office at 12:30. There is not enough time for a long lunch. He pulls into a drive-thru, orders a sandwich, fries, and a drink, and sees the total on the screen. Suddenly, lunch does not feel like a tiny expense anymore. It feels like something he should have planned for. That small pause matters. Fast food depends on habit. The easier the decision feels, the more often people make it. Once customers start thinking, comparing, and calculating, the old habit becomes weaker. This did not happen because one company suddenly decided to make burgers expensive. The reasons are spread across the entire restaurant business. Food costs rose. Wages rose. Rent became more expensive in many places. Packaging costs changed. Insurance, utilities, transportation, equipment, repairs, and ingredients all cost money. A restaurant may look simple from the dining room, but behind the counter there's a long list of expenses. Beef has to arrive. Potatoes have to arrive. Cooking oil has to arrive. Workers have to be paid. The freezer cannot decide to retire on Tuesday afternoon, although it often seems to have excellent timing. Labor is one of the biggest pieces of the story. Fast food restaurants need people to cook, clean, take orders, prepare drinks, handle deliveries, and keep the place moving during rush hour. In many parts of the country, restaurants have had to offer higher pay to attract and keep workers. For employees, higher wages can be a good thing. For restaurant owners, however, those higher labor costs have to be covered somewhere. Some businesses accept lower profit, some try to become more efficient, some reduce hours or staffing, and many raise menu prices. Then, there is the cost of operating the restaurant itself. Many fast food locations are run by franchise owners, not directly by the giant company whose logo is outside. Those owners can face rent, loan payments, local taxes, maintenance, employee costs, franchise fees, remodeling requirements, new equipment, digital ordering systems, and other expenses. When customers say, "It is just a burger," why does it cost so much? The answer is that they are not only paying for the burger, they are helping pay for the entire machine that puts that burger into a bag in a few minutes. Inflation has made this conversation even louder. Restaurant prices in America have continued to rise, and food away from home has remained expensive compared with the old pre-inflation world many consumers remember. The bigger issue is how people feel it. Americans do not experience inflation as a chart. They experience it when they buy lunch, fill the gas tank, pay rent, open the electric bill, or stand in a grocery store wondering how a small cart became a large total. That changes how people judge fast food. A customer may be willing to pay more for a nice dinner because the experience feels special. There may be table service, a comfortable seat, larger portions, or food that feels harder to make at home. Fast food has a different challenge. Its traditional value came from being fast and affordable. If the affordable part becomes weaker, the customer starts judging the food more carefully. Suddenly, the size of the fries matters. The quality of the sandwich matters. The wait at the drive-thru matters. And if the order is wrong, that missing sauce packet can feel like a personal betrayal. This is why the word value has become so important again. Major chains are fighting hard to convince customers that there are still affordable options. We see meal bundles, lower-priced boxes, 2-for-1 offers, loyalty rewards, and special app deals. Some brands are building entire marketing campaigns around the idea that customers can still eat without spending too much. That tells us something important. Companies would not be talking about value so much if customers were not worried about price. But value is not the same as cheap. This is a major shift. A restaurant can say a meal is a good value because you receive several items for one price. That does not always mean the final total is low. A customer may get a burger, nuggets, fries, and a drink in a bundle and still spend more than he remembers spending on fast food a few years ago. The company sees savings compared with buying the items separately. The customer sees the number leaving the bank account. Both views can be true at the same time. Apps have also changed the way Americans buy fast food. In the past, the menu board was the menu board. You looked at it, ordered, paid, and left. Now some of the best deals may live inside a phone. Customers are encouraged to download an app, create an account, collect points, unlock discounts, and order ahead. For regular customers, this can save real money. For companies, it creates loyalty and useful information about buying habits. But it also creates a strange new reality. The person standing at the counter may sometimes pay more than the person sitting 10 feet away ordering the same food on a phone. This digital system gives restaurants a powerful tool. Instead of lowering every menu price, they can offer discounts only to people who use the app or join the loyalty program. That protects more of the full-price business while still giving budget-conscious customers a cheaper path. It is smart business, but it also means the era of simple, obvious, cheap fast food is fading. The low price is still there sometimes, but you may have to search for it. Customers are adapting too. Some are ordering fewer extras. A person who once automatically added fries and a drink may now buy only the sandwich. Families may share large fries instead of buying several. People use coupons more carefully. Some switch between chains depending on the current promotion. Others decide that if they are going to spend that much money, they might as well go somewhere else. That last point is especially important. Fast food chains do not only compete with one another, they compete with grocery stores, convenience stores, pizza shops, warehouse clubs, local restaurants, meal kits, frozen food, and whatever is already sitting in the refrigerator. When a drive-thru meal becomes expensive, cooking at home starts looking more attractive. A rotisserie chicken from a grocery store can feed several people. Frozen burgers can become dinner for a family. A sandwich made at home may not be exciting, but neither is checking your bank balance after buying 4 combo meals. At the same time, full-service and fast-casual restaurants can sometimes come surprisingly close in price. If a customer thinks, for a few more dollars, I can sit down and get a larger meal, fast food loses some of its advantage. This does not mean traditional fast food is disappearing. America is still built for convenience. People still work long hours. Parents still drive children between school and sports. Travelers still need food near highways. Night shift workers still need quick meals. Convenience is powerful, but convenience now has to work harder to justify the bill. The pressure is not equal for every American. Higher income customers may notice the price increase and continue ordering anyway. For them, fast food remains an easy convenience. Lower income and many middle income customers feel the difference much more. These are also the customers who historically depended most on fast food as an affordable option. When prices rise, they are more likely to cut visits, choose smaller orders, hunt for deals, or stop coming as often. That creates a difficult problem for the big chains. Raising prices can protect revenue in the short term, but raising them too far can drive away the customers who made the business successful. Lowering prices can bring people back, but deep discounts can hurt restaurant owners if the food becomes too cheap to sell profitably. The company wants more traffic. The franchise owner wants enough profit to keep the doors open. The customer wants a meal that does not feel ridiculous. Everyone wants value, but they are not always using the same definition. Recent results across the restaurant industry have shown just how complicated this has become. Discounts can help, but cheap deals alone are not always enough. Customers also care about new menu items, food quality, speed, clean restaurants, and whether the experience feels worth the money. Some chains have performed well by combining clear value offers with new products and a smoother experience. Others have discovered that a discount cannot fix everything. A cheap meal is less exciting if the drive-thru takes forever, or the food arrives looking like it survived a minor accident. This may be one of the biggest changes in the fast food business. The old strategy was simple: be cheaper than the alternatives. The new strategy is more complicated. Offer enough cheap choices to protect the value image, sell enough premium items to make money, push customers toward loyalty apps, introduce new products to create excitement, and keep service fast enough that people do not regret coming. That is a lot of work for an industry built around the idea of simplicity. Premium fast food is another part of the story. Many chains now sell larger burgers, specialty chicken sandwiches, loaded fries, fancy drinks, limited-time desserts, and other items that would have looked unusual on a basic fast food menu years ago. These products can raise the average order total. They also help restaurants compete with fast casual brands, but they slowly change what people expect to pay. Once a menu has several high-priced items, the old bargain identity becomes harder to see. The problem is that Americans have very long memories when it comes to cheap food. A customer may not remember what gasoline cost in a particular month 10 years ago, but he may clearly remember a favorite burger costing much less. Old ads and old menus also live forever online. People share photos of past prices and react with disbelief. Sometimes those comparisons ignore years of inflation and rising costs, but emotionally they are powerful. The customer is not comparing the meal only with another restaurant. He is comparing it with his own memory. There is also a psychological limit to fast food pricing. People have a rough idea of what different experiences should cost. We expect a convenience store snack to be one kind of purchase, fast food to be another, and a sit-down dinner to be another. When those price categories overlap too much, people feel that something is wrong even if the increase makes economic sense. The product has crossed an invisible line in the customer's mind, and those expectations were created by the fast food companies themselves. For decades, advertising taught Americans to associate these restaurants with bargains. Dollar menus, cheap burgers, low-cost tacos, value combos, and giant signs showing small prices became part of the culture. The industry trained people to look for deals. Now, it has to live with the customer it created. This does not mean the famous value meal is about to disappear. In fact, the opposite may happen. We may see even more aggressive value offers because chains need a low-cost entry point. The menu could become more divided. On one side, there will be basic bundles for price-sensitive customers. On the other, there will be premium sandwiches, large meals, specialty drinks, and limited-time items for people willing to spend more. In the middle sits the customer, staring at the menu and trying to understand how lunch became a strategy game. But even successful discounts do not fully bring back the old era. The economics underneath the business have changed. Wages are different, property costs are different, ingredients are different, technology is different, consumer expectations are different. A chain may temporarily sell a very cheap bundle, but that does not mean every menu item can return to old prices. The famous cheap fast food world was built under conditions that no longer exist in the same way. There is another side that often gets ignored. Cheap food can have hidden costs. Extremely low prices can depend on low wages, intense work, thin franchise profits, large-scale supply systems, and constant pressure to become faster and more efficient. Americans loved the bargain, but the bargain was never magic. Someone, somewhere in the system, was always paying part of the cost. As wages and operating expenses rise, more of that cost becomes visible on the menu. Automation may help restaurants control some expenses. We already see self-service kiosks, mobile ordering, digital menu boards, automated kitchen equipment, and more technology behind the counter. In the future, certain jobs may change or disappear while new technical jobs appear. Restaurants will keep looking for ways to prepare more food with fewer mistakes and less labor. But technology is not free either. Machines have to be bought, installed, repaired, updated, and eventually replaced. The drive-thru itself may become even more important. Many customers no longer care about sitting inside a fast food restaurant. They want to order on a phone, pick up quickly, and leave. New restaurant designs are responding to that behavior. Some locations are becoming smaller inside and more focused on digital orders, pickup shelves, delivery drivers, and multiple drive-thru lanes. If companies can reduce dining room space and improve speed, they may save money while giving customers what they actually use. Delivery has changed the price conversation too. Ordering fast food from the couch can feel wonderfully convenient until the fees, tips, and higher menu prices appear. A meal that seemed affordable can become much more expensive by the time it reaches the front door. Still, millions of Americans pay for that convenience because time has value. This shows why fast food does not have to be the cheapest option to survive. It only has to offer something people value enough to keep buying. Consumers are becoming more selective. That word matters. People are still spending, but many are thinking harder before they spend. A family may still get fast food on Friday night, but skip the second visit that week. A worker may still buy breakfast, but make coffee at home. A teenager may use an app deal instead of ordering whatever looks good. Small decisions like these can add up to millions of lost or gained restaurant visits. The chains know it. That is why the battle over value is not ending. It is getting more serious. Burger chains are offering bundles. Taco restaurants are pushing low-cost boxes. Pizza companies are running promotions. Loyalty programs are handing out points. Every brand wants to become the place customers think of when they say, "I need something quick, but I do not want to spend too much." There is something very American about this whole story. Fast food grew with highways, suburbs, car culture, busy work schedules, family road trips, and the idea that convenience should be available almost everywhere. It became part of daily life. The glowing sign near an interstate exit meant you already knew what the food would taste like, roughly what it would cost, and how quickly you could get back on the road. That predictability was powerful. Price was part of that promise. Now the promise is being rewritten. The sign is still there. The drive-thru is still there. The familiar burger is still there. But the customer is paying more attention than before. He checks the app. She compares the combo with a grocery store meal. A family looks at the total before adding another order of fries. What used to be an automatic purchase is becoming a conscious choice. So, is America's cheap fast food era really ending? In one sense, yes. The days when low prices could be taken for granted are fading. The industry can still create cheap deals, but those deals now feel more like special strategies than the natural price of fast food. The cheapest items are increasingly used to bring customers in, while the rest of the menu carries higher prices. But cheap fast food is not disappearing completely. It is being redesigned. The new bargain may require an app. It may come in a bundle. It may be available for a limited time. It may ask you to join a rewards program. It may exist beside a much more expensive premium meal. The value is still there, but it is less simple than it used to be. And maybe that is the strangest part. Fast food became one of the biggest businesses in America by removing decisions. You did not need a reservation. You did not need to dress up. You did not need to wait long. You did not need to study the menu. You just ordered something familiar and moved on with your day. Now getting the best price can require checking an app, comparing bundles, using points, watching promotions, and deciding whether the large fries are really worth it. For the companies, this is a business challenge. For customers, it is another sign of how much everyday life has changed. Inflation is not only something discussed by economists or politicians. Sometimes it is a number glowing on a drive-thru screen while you sit in your car and think, I swear this used to be cheaper. Fast food will remain part of America. The country is too busy, too spread out, and too attached to convenience for the drive-thru to disappear. But the idea that fast food automatically means cheap may be disappearing much faster. The winners will probably be the brands that understand a simple truth. Americans will pay for convenience, quality, and food they enjoy, but they still want to feel respected when they see the total. And if the industry forgets that, there is always one powerful competitor waiting at home. It is not another burger chain. It has no loyalty app. It does not send push notifications. It is the leftover chicken in the refrigerator. This is strange America, where even something as ordinary as a fast food receipt can tell us a bigger story about money, business, habits, and the way American life is changing. The drive-thru is not going away. But the era when we could assume the meal inside that paper bag would always be cheap may already be on its way out.